Hi there, my name is Charity, and you're watching CornerCatch. Today in my corner, I'm going to be reading and discussing Psalm chapter 6 from the New King James Bible. So, grab your coffee, have a seat, and let's dig in. Today's passage is a heartfelt expression of pain and anguish, begging and pleading, mourning, anger. But it ends with faith despite it all. And that's why I love this psalm. So let's read it first, and then we'll discuss. It is a psalm of David, and it's titled, A Prayer of Faith in Time of Distress. O Lord, do not rebuke me in your anger, nor chasten me in your hot displeasure. Have mercy on me, O Lord, for I am weak. O Lord, heal me, for my bones are troubled. My soul also is greatly troubled. But you, O Lord, how long? Return, O Lord, deliver me. O save me for your mercy's sake. For in death there is no remembrance of you. In the grave, who will give you thanks? I am weary with my groaning. All night I make my bed swim. I drench my couch with my tears. My eye wastes away because of grief. It grows old because of all my enemies. Depart from me, all you workers of iniquity, for the Lord has heard the voice of my weeping. The Lord has heard my supplication. The Lord will receive my prayer. Let all my enemies be ashamed and greatly troubled. Let them turn back and be ashamed suddenly. It's pretty powerful. Sorry, excuse my nose. I get a little excited at times at some of these psalms. Breathing makes it a little difficult sometimes. This psalm, I want to back up to the beginning, but I want to back up a little further than that to a slightly different topic of stereotypes. There has been a stereotype for men. Men are not allowed to cry. They're not allowed to express that they have deep emotions, that they have pain, that they can't endure whatever they have on their plate. These are stereotypes that have been maintained by men, especially older generation men. And this psalm is the complete opposite of that. David is a grown man. At least, I'm guessing he is. It could be he wrote this when he was a teenager. I don't know of the history of this psalm. But either way, reading this makes you go, wow, this is almost something completely brand new. First, he asks God, he says, Lord, please don't punish me. Don't rebuke me. I can't take it right now. My heart is too broken. And then he says, Lord, heal me. My body is broken. My soul is broken. And how long until you do heal these things? Return, deliver me, save me for your sake, for your mercy's sake. You are merciful. For the sake of showing you're merciful, save me, Lord. I need your mercy. For in death there is no remembrance of you. He's saying, Lord, if I die of this, who's going to remember you? Who's going to praise you? We like to think, and I'm sure there are other people around who would praise God. But one thing we may find in studying these Psalms is David has a tendency to speak in extremes. He gets really excited and says big things in the moment. And he speaks like there's nobody else on planet Earth who will praise God. And that's fine. He's in deep anguish. He's allowed to say these things to God. But I love that phrase. I think that's one of those confessions we can take over our life. Lord, if I die of this, who will praise you? And in a way that's saying, Lord, I will praise you. I will praise you no matter what. That's saying my heart is in a place where I want to praise you, but I can't, figuratively speaking. And I will praise you if I survive this. I like that line. For in death there is no remembrance of you. In the grave, who will give you thanks? And here next, he has a stanza that 2 verses that break those stereotypes. All these things, in a way, do that, but they're talking directly to God, and they're pleading to God and begging to God, and that's not so different from a man stereotype. I mean, I guess you could say a lot of men have a hard time asking for help, but that's not just men. I have a hard time asking for help for a lot of different things. But here, he is expressing just how depressed he is. I am weary with my groaning. I've groaned so much I'm weary of it. All night I make my bed swim. He's crying all night, and that's, again, probably an exaggeration. I don't know how someone weeps tears constantly all night, but it may just be he's trying to sleep and he can't, and one thing will come to his mind and he'll cry a little bit. Another thing will come to his mind and he'll cry a little bit. Maybe he is weeping all night. I don't know. That's just not... It takes a lot for me to cry. So my mind says, well, that's probably an exaggeration. It might not be, but regardless, he is a man who's saying, all night I make my bed swim. I drench my couch with my tears. My eye wastes away because of grief. My eyes are puffy. I can't see very well. My eye it's not doing me any good because I'm just so grieved. It grows old because of all my enemies. My eyes grow old because of my enemies. That almost seems to have a visual connotation. You think of a really old person, they're really wrinkly, and they've got wrinkles around their eyes, and especially some of those older men who grew up maybe on the farm and they had to squint a lot. And that's kind of what that makes me think of, almost, is the squinty older eyes. My eyes are turned old because I just squinted them so much. I'm just so grieved that my eyes look old. Seems kind of silly, but my eye grows old because of all my enemies. That deep anguish expressed in verse 6 and 7. That tells me it's okay to have moments of depression, to drench my couch with my tears, to have off days, down days. David obviously did. And it's my belief that that's why this psalm was included in here, was to show that level of grief and pain and anguish, and it's okay to cry. It's okay to let it out. This is happening. I'm upset, and I'm taking it to God, and I'm telling Him about it. It's okay to go there, as deep as you need to. But then, The sun rises. Faith comes with the morning. Depart from me, all you workers of iniquity. So now he's angry. It's like, get away from me. I'm done dealing with you. Get away from me. Depart from me. For the Lord has heard the voice of my weeping. Now, I like that phrase, the voice of my weeping. The voice of my weeping. The voice of my weeping. It's an interesting choice of words in looking at the poem perspective. But that whole phrase, for the Lord has heard the voice of my weeping. The Lord has heard me. So depart from me, enemies. He has heard me. The Lord has heard my supplication. The Lord will receive my prayer. He will receive it. Let all my enemies be ashamed and great. Just back up a little bit. So, looking at the history of this, I don't know it. I don't know a lot of it. But I do know that David was the first person to talk about God one of the first people to talk about God in a personable manner. I want to say he was the one who coined the phrase, the Lord is my shepherd. You know, every other name for God was more like a glimpse of God. It wasn't God himself. You know, his name is Yahweh, but that they wouldn't say Yahweh. They would say other names. The God who sees me, the God who is my redemption, the God who does this and that. And they kind of made it seem like God was up here. And this big being to fear, which he was a being to fear, and they had reason to fear him. But David was the one who took that and put, I fear God, but I also love him. I'm also friends with him. And to be in the kind of place where you can say, the creator of the universe has heard me. I am only one person on planet Earth, but I know he has heard me. And to make that statement toward your enemies, run. God has heard me. That's a statement of faith. He had to have taken that. Before he saw any sign of it, he may have sensed on the inside, which I have sensed many times, just this peace, the peace that passes understanding, which might have been the thing to tell him, God heard me. So now I can breathe. I can move on. I've gone to that deep and ugly place, and now I can resurrect. I can get up, remove my sackcloth, clean myself, new clothes. I can move on, and I can know, and I can face my enemies knowing, God has heard my prayer. He has received it. And then verse 10, let all my enemies be ashamed and greatly troubled. Let them turn back and be ashamed suddenly, because they came against me. And me is one with God, and because I am one with God, God will teach them the lesson they need to learn, and they will run in shame and fear and cower. So powerful. So powerful. Yep, it's definitely another one of my favorites. So to close, I'll read it one more time and then I'll let you go. First, let me get a drink. I'm a little bit hoarse tonight. Okay. So, in closing, Psalm 6. O Lord, do not rebuke me in your anger, nor chasten me in your hot displeasure. Have mercy on me, O Lord, for I am weak. O Lord, heal me, for my bones are troubled. My soul also is greatly troubled. But you, O Lord, how long? Return, O Lord, deliver me. O save me for your mercy's sake. For in death there is no remembrance of you. In the grave, who will give you thanks? I am weary with my groaning. All night I make my bed swim. I drench my couch with my tears. My eye wastes away because of grief. It grows old because of all my enemies. Depart from me, all you workers of iniquity, for the Lord has heard the voice of my weeping. The Lord has heard my supplication. The Lord will receive my prayer. Let all my enemies be ashamed and greatly troubled. Let them turn back and be ashamed suddenly. It's powerful stuff. Well, thank you for joining me. Until next time, this is Charity at CornerCatch. Shalom, shalom.